It's another Monday Night Football doubleheader for reasons unclear. Today we're going to do what we always do here. We're going to look at the projections and the ownership projections. We're going to build out some lineups via an optimizer, the solver. We're going to sim some stuff out in Stochastic. We're going to hand build here. By the end of this video, guys, we're going to know 3 takeaways to build more unique lineups on tonight's slate. Well, let's get into it. Of course, yesterday's video came out pretty well. Profitable day for me. Hope it was a good one for you guys too. And I'm not sure if this means it was good for Adam if you're victory lapping 15.2 half PPR points, but Lad McConkey, a serviceable game, which I mentioned here on stream. Did I inadvertently injure Rashee Rice by touting Lad McConkey bringbacks with Travis Kelce? Maybe I did. I don't know, but we're going to get into it here. Monday Night Football doubleheader. Top projected players as of right now, 11:02 a.m. on the East Coast. Devon Achane, number 1, 18.7 projection for him. A top projected player overall. Spot here where Tyler, a.k.a. Snoop Huntley, should be able to be a little more productive in the pass game than your Tim Boyles, even than your Skylar Thompson's a guy who's been in the system, has not shown a lot of good work. So Achane, willing to buy in on here against a Tennessee team that overall in the year, defensively, I think looking okay. Negative 0.04 EPA per dropback, negative 0.04 EPA per pass. In the run game, though, a 0.03 EPA allowed per rush. They're missing tackles at a 12% clip, which is pretty soft. Do stuff the run at a 27% clip, which is actually really high, one of the higher marks in the league. But overall spot where it's Achane, it doesn't really matter. They could get force-fed the ball pretty aggressively today. Also, I have a sore throat, guys. The week of hell where dog death, illness. Let's see what else we have coming for me here on this fine Monday. Amon-Ra St. Brown is number 2, an 18.3 projection. Geno Smith, number 3, rounded up 17 points, barely ahead of Jared Goff, who's also at a rounded 17-point projection, and Tyler Huntley at 15.4. So the guy who's underrepresented here, Will Levis, on a 2-game doubleheader on Monday Night Football. Will Levis stacks. Unfortunately for you guys out there, probably an interesting tournament play because they're not going to come up very often in an optimizer unless you go out of your way to get there. Quite a delusional QJ, people calling him wide receiver 1. He's had bigger games every week. Boy, Adam, man, you come back. I don't think you've been in the chat for weeks, and it has to be Lad McConkey talk immediately. Save it for tomorrow. Top values on the slate right now, according to Stochastic. Dolphins D number is a top value overall. You're getting direct leverage if you go to Will Levis. Will Levis not well projected, so Dolphins D up top. Interesting to see them being the number 1 value here by a wide margin. Geno Smith, number 2, Tyler Huntley, number 3, Jared Goff, number 4, Will Levis, number 5. So it's basically a bunch of QB values and the one defense that probably ends up very chalky as a result. And Devon Achane, despite being the highest projected guy, he's actually your number 6 value overall in the slate. So weird scene to see overall. The projections don't offer you a ton of value, and it definitely paint a picture, I believe, what we're going to see. It'll be very chalky construction for a lot of the top players. But let's go to the ownership. Take a look here. Top owned players right now, according to Stochastic. 56% ownership expected to go Amon-Ra St. Brown's way. He's on the thumbnail. Probably the most bankable play at this point, where Jameson Williams, it seems like, has come back down to earth in the last 2 weeks. Target per out run starting to separate for Amon-Ra as well. 32% target per out run for Amon-Ra, actually 32.4%, so a little bit higher. 23% target per out run for Jameson Williams. For comparison's sake, Khalif Raymond at 9%. Sam Laporta, who's probably due to get targeted more, only a 13% target per out run. And then the running back's getting a lot more targets as well, 25.9% for Jahmyr Gibbs per route, and 25% for David Montgomery. So overall, seems like Jameson Williams, a player that I would imagine on this kind of slate, gets jammed in a little bit more. But the role is really leveled out for him in a way where I think Amon-Ra, being the chalk player, makes a lot more sense. Devon Achane, number 2, 51% ownership going his way expected. Dolphins, number 3, 47%. So again, you play that Titans pass game, even if it's a single stack, I think you're going to be able to get off the beaten path a lot with it being just a 2-game slate. Tony Pollard, number 4, 44% for him. So a little odd to see Dolphins D and Tony Pollard being here, but I guess that is what it is. And Jahmyr Gibbs rounded up for 44% here. He's your number 5 overall owned player. So how Jaden is playing, variance looking up for Spags, I suppose. We're in the positive advance rates for today, but we'll see what this doubleheader does to it. But look, Jaden, I've said it from day one. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. Again, this is a video just about the showdown primarily, my reactions to everything. We'll give it a little more depth, including Lad McConkey tomorrow. For Jaden, though, the fact that he's this real life good, I think, is the big jarring thing to me. I thought he'd be good, thought he'd be efficient, thought he wouldn't fuck up a lot. For him to be able to go into Arizona and really barnstorm a Cardinals team that we thought was decent, and I think has shown to be decent throughout the year, really a surprise to me. But that's what the Jaden bet was, that he's going to make that team better from day one, and it seems like he's doing it so far. Your low-owned guys in the slate, Chigakonkwo, he'll probably be a 10% flat by the time the slate goes. Pharaoh Brown, really not involved at all, but involved enough, I guess, to be a player you consider. 30 snaps a game, 7 routes, no red zone targets, no deep targets for Pharaoh Brown. Noah Fant's role is also pretty dog shit, 4 targets a game, but it's a real role. I don't think that there's much there for Pharaoh Brown, but short slate, I get it. Tim Patrick, he got called up. So Tim Patrick, Allen Robinson, both called up to the active roster for Detroit, assuming that they both are going to be active today. I think, as I mentioned earlier in the week or earlier last week, I think that's more of an indoctrination of what Khalif Raymond is giving right now to the team, that they're not feeling he's giving them enough. Could be something as well with Laporta being banged up. You want more pass catchers out there. But I don't think that's how Detroit would do that. I think they would just roll with Brock Wright and kind of use the tight end the same way. So if I had to guess, Tim Patrick and Allen Robinson, okay plays here as your wide receiver 3 or flex, but definitely not plays that you have any confidence in, really. Raheem Mostert, Zach Charbonnet going to be low owned. Mostert actually looking like he's not going to go today, so that ownership will probably shift even a little bit more to old Devon Achane. And I would imagine we would see, where's Jalen Wright at? Yeah, Jalen Wright unowned. I imagine he gets a number on him, but probably not too high. It really just not having a guy like Raheem Mostert in, chest injury, out another week, just concentrates the role for Achane more. I don't think that Jalen Wright's like a bad click necessarily, but it's still not a click that I'm probably going to go to very much. Khalif Raymond, low owned. He's been getting okay snap counts, 24.3 snaps a game, 15.3 routes. Not getting deep targets, getting 0.3 red zone targets a game. So Khalif Raymond, if you want to buy while there's some pressure on him, I think it's a crazy thing in a tournament. Treylon Burks, that one feels a little bit harder to get to. Tyler Boyd's running so many more snaps. Hopkins' snap count's been going up. Where are we last week with Treylon? Treylon Burks played 26 snaps last week, which is a trend of going down. 44 week 1, 33 week 2, 26 week 3. If I had to guess, he's going down because Hopkins is going up. Yeah, Hopkins goes from 17 to 29, then goes down again at 25 last week, which could be a little bit of the game script of that one getting out of hand. It did go down. Ridley, 54, 54, 39. That Tennessee wide receiver core. Treylon Burks is a play, I guess. I still think that he would come down a little bit further with having Hopkins play a full game. Tyler Boyd played 38 snaps, 50, 53 the 2 weeks before that. I don't think Burks is really a play, but he's getting some amount of work, and he could break a touchdown in one play, so I don't want to fully throw him out with the bathwater, so to speak. Everybody else here, I don't really see anybody you'd want to play. Brock Wright maybe gains a little bit of appeal here with Laporta being banged up. That's about it. Let's see what we get on this next one here. Of course, heading over to the Solver Optimizer, 15% off the promo code SPLASH at Stochastic, and no promo code on the Solver, but of course, check it out for yourself. It is a great tool to use for your regular processes here. I used it yesterday to build my lineups, felt really good about it, had a profitable day. That's the biggest cosign I can give. Having control over your builds a little bit more feels pretty good some days. All right, let's go here. No boosts, no anything. We're just going to run 25 lineups, but real fast ETRs, top projected guys, Amon-Ra St. Brown again, Geno Smith, they have ahead of Devon Achane, but still basically similar order here with number 2 and number 3, Jared Goff at number 4, and Snoop Tyler Huntley at number 5. Ownership-wise, expecting 51% to Amon-Ra, 51% to JSN, which surprises me. Oh, I don't want these boosts on. Why are these fucking boosts on? All right. I think I was playing around with stuff last night, and that's why the boost was on. So Metcalf projecting for 49%, Achane for 47%, Montgomery for 47%. So the ETR ownership is saying that basically people are just going to overstack Seattle a lot more here, which I don't know that I agree with. But I guess we're going to get Amon-Ra and then Geno stacks with 2 Seahawks on top. But ETR's ownership really shading a lot more towards the Seahawks than Stochastics was. Stochastics did not show all these guys up top from Seattle receivers. But let's optimize it out here and see what we get. Of course, the goal running the optimization is just to see overall what the math drives people to the most. So on a slate like this, I guess to give you the exact comparison from last Monday night, we saw a lot of Jags making a lineup. What ended up winning in that Monday night doubleheader was that the team that won didn't play any Jags at all. They stacked up the other 3 teams, did not play any of the Jaguars. In this spot, I don't know that you want to play no Seahawks. You're getting here 5 Seahawks in this build, 4 Seahawks in this build, 5 Seahawks in this build, 4 in this build, 4 in this build, 6 in this build, 5 here, 3 here, 2 is our lowest yet, 4 here. So really the point is you're getting at least 2 Seahawks in every build. So one way to still build decently projected lineups and try to just get away from maybe Seattle getting boat raced here. I don't think they get boat raced to the extent that Jacksonville did last week, but let's say they put up 10 points. I mean, maybe 1 touchdown and 3 field goals. Like, you're not going to have a lot of guys making a roster necessarily. So I would say right away, trying to maybe concentrate your production from Seattle stands out. Trying to concentrate it for running back especially seems like it would stand out because you are getting Seattle receivers in seemingly every lineup here. You're getting at least 1 Seattle receiver in every lineup. Sometimes, again, up to 4. It's a lot, man. There's a lot of Seattle. So I think right away here, the road team going to Detroit, a team that we know, it has some capability here. I would say playing less Seahawks right away would be the move. Check the chat here. Shout out Kendrick, appreciate that. All right, the chat's just going off. Any Tyreek Hill lineups we'll see in a moment here, but they're not coming up, it looks like, in the optimal right now. Top 25, not coming up. And real fast for cash games, if you were to play a cash game right now at 11, 12 a.m. on the East Coast, Geno, Achan, Tony Pollard, Metcalf, JSN, Lockett, Fant, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Dolphins. So that doesn't feel very cashy, but that would be your optimal lineup right now based off what we're seeing. We don't have Sims here, so I'm not going to build out more lineups on the solver. We'll go to Stochastic instead. Of course, Stochastic, what they're going to do is build 10,000 lineups and have them compete 10,000 times. The solver has a version of a Sim too that's pretty good, but they don't build their lineups until later in the day, so unfortunately, we can't do that, whereas Stochastic generates a field each time automatically, which is a big difference here. Let's see what we get with 10,000 lineups. If you guys are watching live here, I feel like dog shit, so your likes go a long way today. Hit the like button, subscribe. Got a fucking cold for my kid. I haven't done anything fun in like the last week, and yet here I am, again, sore throat, fucking phlegmy. Feels awful. Kids in the fall, really where the bill comes due for all the not good parts of parenting. But here we go. 30% to first here for this Monday night slate. Let's see what Stochastic gives us. And I will have a rare sip from a mug here. Usually it's a cold water, boy. Or I guess if we're getting frisky on a weekend, a beer. But no, we have Theraflu here. Theraflu daytime, so I can't even catch a buzz. What a scene. Shout out Stochastic. Again, a great tool. I feel like for me, especially, the best you used to do Stochastic for you guys out there is if you're like me, you put your kids to bed, you don't have a ton of time to build good lineups. The solver, I think, if you want to control things, lock in different constructions, see how they look, sim some stuff out in a single lineup generator, that kind of stuff. You do that on Stochastic too. What Stochastic does best, though, is just giving you a batch of 10,000 lineups that are sort of pre-vetted to some extent, that align with the ownership, the simulation process. I think it's a lot easier to grab one lineup out of Stochastic and go, cool, I feel good about this lineup. Whereas like the solver, it's like you want to strap in, be building your own stuff, simming it out, building your own stuff, simming it out. So different processes here, but if you're the kind of person that likes to be handed a fish rather than taught how to fish, I think Stochastic will do a better job for you with 15% off. Promo code SPLASH down below. Look at the description and all that. Shout out Tyler, if you aren't subbed a member, you are missing out, period. Spags, best of the best day. Day in, day out, year-long dong. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate that. We've had a lot of good conversations in the VIP Discord lately. It's nice to go back and forth with Tyler, some of our other guys as well, Ross, D. Owens, so KY, a lot of guys in there. Red Spike, I think, has been in a lot lately as well. Just asking about lineup stuff. So happy to see the Discord popping off. That is part of what you get when you join down below for $4.99. All right, top lineups right now. Again, 11:15 on the East Coast. So this could move around as the day goes on, obviously. Jared Goff, Devon Achane, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Tyler Lockett, Tim Patrick, Noah Fant, David Montgomery, Dolphins. So right away, again, you see what we just talked about, where you're naturally getting a lot of Seahawks. So the sim here is going to give you a little bit more in terms of what the upside is for going against the Seahawks receivers. So you're not taking DK Metcalf here. You're not taking JSN. You're not taking an RB. You're just taking Tyler Lockett and Noah Fant, are probably be the least owned of the Seahawks. And I guess interesting to see Tim Patrick coming in. I don't know how you give him a real projection here, but Stochastic, to their credit, they did hit. Tucker Kraft hit yesterday. Paris Campbell, 2 plays that I was like, I really don't want these guys in every lineup. I was right to not want Paris Campbell in every lineup, even if he catches that CD. But Tucker Kraft was legit one of the best tight end plays on the slate. So you see Tim Patrick come up from Stochastic, maybe give him a little bit more of a look. I think the other Adams are paying members, so I don't know if that's true, Adam. I can't confirm right now. But yeah, best ball Adams, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate an Adam for all seasons, but I think all the Adams have had credibility in the last few months. Jared Goff, Devon Achane, Tony Pollard, Amon-Ra, JMO, Tim Patrick, Noah Fant, David Montgomery, Dolphins. So once again, you're getting less Seahawks overall. Same thing here where you're getting JSN as your only Seahawk. You're getting Jared Goff with Achane, Pollard, JMO, JSN, Khalif Raymond, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Dolphins. And our one Geno Smith lineup at the top 5 is Geno, Achane, Tyjae Spears, Tyreek Hill, DK Metcalf, JSN, Noah Fant, Tyler Lockett, and Dolphins. Well, I do think the point of there being less Seahawks, seeing that right away, it definitely jumps out to me here. Seahawks going to project a little bit too well, and you're going to get a few too many of them. And I think trying to concentrate that production is always going to be the move in general when you see that happen. But really, that was like a lot of Seahawks coming up with the natural projections or the unboosted, any unmodified projections I just showed you guys in the solver. Top player ROIs right now, it's a short slate, so you're not going to see a ton of very positive ROIs like we would for a main slate. You got Devon Achane, number 1, 1.2% ROI for him. Tim Patrick, number 2, with a 0.8% ROI, and everybody else is negative. Josh Wiley has been coming for Chigakonkwo's role. Wiley last week played 25 snaps. Chig, 30. Chig also trending down, 38 week 1, 32 week 2, 30 week 3. Josh Wiley, I think a valid play and a guy we talked about as well in the past. Traveled with these guys in the offseason, worked out with Calvin Ridley, worked out with DeAndre Hopkins, with Will Levis. Apparently he's one of Will Levis's close friends. These guys went to Cancun, worked together. Wiley was taking work away in the preseason. So I would say Josh Wiley, probably sneakier, like 2,500. I don't know what his savings are going to get you, but I think leaving money on the table, going to Wiley from other tight ends, I think it's a valid enough play, even though obviously Laporta, you expect him to be a tier above. That he's played this year, I don't know that he actually is a tier above. Stack ROIs. No positive ROIs on QBs +1, but you are getting Tyler Huntley being the closest. QB +2, Tyler Huntley also has the least negative ROI, is the best way to say that. QB +3, also Tyler Huntley, the least negative ROI. Geno, if you understack him, you're seemingly not going to do well because I guess people are going to be playing Geno with multiple pass catchers. So you play one Geno pass catcher with Geno, doesn't seem like the best way to hit. Because basically, like, if Geno hits enough to make the winning lineup, he's going to carry multiple guys with him, and people are going to overplay Seattle Seahawks overall. So trying to underplay Seahawks, I don't think works, and that's why you're getting this really bad ROI and QBs +1 for Geno. But let's see the overall construction of the top 150 lineups. So you're getting 95% Devon Achane. So the Sims are saying take more Achane than not. 57% ownership. He's, again, the chalk play of the day expected, but you're getting almost double the amount of that. So Achane, the Sims are saying play in every lineup. Dolphins D, they're saying play in every lineup. This is where I disagree with the Sims today. Again, I get the projection on Miami. I get Will Levis makes mistakes on the year. He's got a 4.3% interception rate, which is definitely above league average. League average around 3% historically. His accuracy, 68% catchable ball rate, is not awful. The issue is that Miami's defense is really not that good. They're giving up a 69% completion rate overall. Obviously very nice. 0.08 EPA per dropback, 0.09 EPA per pass. In the red zone, negative 0.13 EPA per red zone passes, basically like league average. Downfield, they're giving up a 1.4 EPA, so throws to 20-plus air yards. 50% completion rate on those plays as well. Under 20 air yards, a 76% completion rate, 0.15 EPA. I think Miami's defense is soft. I could certainly get with the Will Levis of it all that like he can fuck up any situation. But I think people are going to just lock in Dolphins D because of the fact that they're going to get him so easily projection-wise. And again, they project really well, but he's only taking sacks 3.4% of the time. He's getting pressured, which is about average. Like, Levis sucks. Like, I don't want to be the one that starts to defend Will Levis. I thought he was an okay best ball play with the receivers around him to hope this offense would bring enough Cincinnati principles to be good. But I think for a 2-game slate, like, it doesn't matter if Will Levis sucks or not. You got to be willing to play him today because they're not going to be here getting direct leverage on Dolphins D. You could even play Levis with Dolphins D and have that be the way that you get unique on Dolphins D. But they're coming up so much. This is way too much of any defense, even on a 2-game slate. So 65% of the time getting Dolphins, I don't see that. 2-game slate, I'll be going C. I hope you mean Seattle defense. But Yeah, the Seattle pass catchers are going to be duped pretty heavily, and people are going to overload that. Same thing we talk about for Thanksgiving slates a lot. You know, anytime you have a 2-game slate, 3-game slate, even a 4-game slate, whenever you see that the projections drive people towards like overloading one team too much, okay, we just saw it last week with the Jacksonville stack overall, and then no players from Jacksonville make the lineup. Again, I don't think no players from Seattle make the lineup, but when you frequently see 4 Seattle players, 5 Seattle players, that tells you 3 max, 2 max, something like that. Or play none. But I think that's really the main thing I would say with Seattle based on what we've seen so far. But yeah, Seattle defense, sure. Like, I guess. I don't know that I buy in. Well, Seattle's been pretty aggressive, I guess. On paper, the best defense on the slate, Seattle right now, negative 0.32 EPA per drop back, negative 0.38 EPA per pass, negative 0.04 EPA per rush. Not getting sacks, but getting pressure almost 33% of the time. So that's weird they're not getting home on sacks, but probably due for some positive regression there, you would think. And a low 60% completion rate allowed by Seattle. Yeah, Seattle's D. Maybe you play Detroit stack with Seattle's D and you just don't play, well, maybe you don't even play Jared Goff with it. I don't know. Seattle D is interesting, though. I'll give you that. Dolphins D, though, is just not interesting because of that. Who's the Josh Reynolds? There isn't always a Josh Reynolds. I'm not sure of that. There you go. Jordan saying Spags 10 AF. Not so much these days, but I have been for a while. I haven't walked in 4 days because of the dog dying and me being sick. So, but yeah, I go outside. I get some color. You know, just living a simple beach life here in the Philadelphia area. Top owned players besides these guys: Tyler Lockett at number 3, JSN at number 4, Tony Pollard at number 5. So even though we got less Seahawks overall, you are still being told to get JSN above the field, Tyler Lockett above the field. So you're getting Seahawks no matter what, no matter which way you try to play this. I think also, let's just real fast look at some different lineups here. I guess we can just look at all the QBs. Filter. QB. Yeah, Fan AF. Wish I were Fan AF. It's always hot in here now. All right, QB contains Levis. Thank you, Jordan. I don't have Instagram anymore, so I can't inform the people accordingly. I have to inform you guys one by one when you see me in YouTube chat. QB contains Will Levis. Top lineups here. So Levis with Achane, Tony Pollard, Amon-Ra, DeAndre Hopkins, Lockett, Chikakonkwo, David Montgomery, Lions. So leaving $100 on the table, a Levis QB plus 3 with one opponent coming back. You are getting less Seahawks here. So again, you're doing the stuff that we think we have to do in a lineup. Look, I don't love Will Levis. I could say it time and time again. I've liked him a lot more as a concept in best ball with what I've seen from him so far. Really not impressed. But on a 2-game slate like this one, I think Levis stacks might be the pathway to victory here. Even though the more obvious one is like getting unique with Jared Goff stacks or something. But I don't think the pathway to victory is Geno Smith. I think that's really the main thing I would say at this point. Even though I like how Geno's played. Just too much ownership going there and too much of all the pass catchers. I don't know. Like, what do you play Jake Bobo to get unique and get fucking 10 snaps? Let's see how that, not sure how that would go. Number 2, Levis lineup, Levis, Achane, Pollard, Calvin Ridley, J-Mo, Tyler Lockett, Laporta, David Montgomery, and the Lions. It's okay. Levis, Achane, Pollard, Metcalf, JSN, Tyler Boyd, Laporta, Montgomery, Lions. So again, you're really just seeing max 2 Seahawks. I think that's probably the most important thing to observe here. But I'm okay with these Levis teams. I feel like none of them are really making me feel great about things. But to me, Ridley is the most premier play out of the group. Hopkins, I expect to get better each week. Boyd is there and running enough routes. He's probably the least impressive as a player in terms of how he's played on the year as well. Yeah, 18% target per route run. Actually, I'm surprised to see this. So Boyd, 17.8% target per route run this year so far. Ridley, 17.6%. But Ridley's getting 22.5 air yards per target and 2.3 deep targets a game. So it looks like the usage is like a little better per route for Tyler Boyd, but Ridley's getting like shot plays. I think you should be able to find him against Miami. So yeah, Ridley would be my favorite receiver out of the group. Projections are awful for these guys too. 8.8 for Ridley, 8 flat for Hawkins, 6.6 for Tyler Boyd. God, that's really the fucking nobody's going to be getting stochastic, I think, from that. Yeah, I got booted from Instagram because I've mentioned this before, but I had a Facebook page when my website guys, at some point, like in 2013 or something, we posted a story about sex tourism, and then somehow that got labeled as sex trafficking. And like, I haven't been affiliated with that site since 2013, I think. or 2014, somewhere in there. But like I basically killed my Instagram, but didn't kill my Facebook because I won the appeal on there. It's really fucking stupid because like on Instagram now I'm losing like contact with all these people I've talked to for years and I have no way to fix it. Fucking sucks. Especially because too, trust me, I'm not, there's no sex trafficking going here. There's no fucking sex in this house. We got a child. But either way, yes, I don't have Instagram and it fucking drives me nuts because I can't keep up with people and I can't post about shit like my dog, who many people loved over the course of a decade and a half, passing away. But that's the fun part of Facebook. So now I'm just not using Facebook at all. Geno teams, let's look at them. And honestly, not going on Instagram, I will say, if you're past your prime and you're not going out and having fun and trying to like, hit on people, DM people, whatever, it is nice to not have Instagram. I have to be honest, like the pressure of it. Yeah, that's what I would say. It's been a nice thing to not have it, but it sucks from like the human connection part. Geno, Devon Achane, Tyjae Spears, Tyreek Hill, DK Metcalf, JSN, Noah Fant, Tyler Lockett, and Dolphins. So this one, you are still getting a triple with Geno. Like if you play Geno stacks, hard to not go triple, but I think going Geno +2 would be the most appealing. It's hard for me to imagine. I guess this is 4. Like, how the fuck do Metcalf, JSN, Noah Fant, and Lockett, like, all hit? That's really asking a lot here, especially on, Millie Maker kind of slate, 500K to first kind of slate. If you're playing, like, a 500 entry tournament tonight, I guess I could get doing Geno quadruple stacked, but this is insane. Like, all the top Geno lineups, QB +4, QB +4, QB +4, all of them. I just don't see, I don't know. I don't see the Geno play hitting this way at all. You never see stuff like this, even on a 2-game slate. So it's really odd to see. But anyway, Geno +4 if you're going to play him. Geno +3 with 1 bringback. Geno +3 with 3 bringbacks. I guess that's it. Like, you get the ownership product down by just having a bunch of bringbacks on it. And in this case, I think you're fading the Titans entirely. Which I don't know if that gets you much ownership-wise, but I guess there's a logic to it. Jared Goff teams real fast. Then we'll hand-build one. Jared Goff, Achane, Jahmyr Gibbs, Amon-Ra, Lockett, Tim Patrick, Noah Fant, David Montgomery, Dolphins. His number 1 ROI lineup, Jared Goff, Achane, Pollard, Amon-Ra, J-Mo, Tim Patrick, Noah Fant, David Montgomery, Dolphins. I mean, I think Amon-Ra is the one play I feel like it's hard to imagine him not making a lineup in general. But if you fade Amon-Ra and you go J-Mo, you go Laporta, maybe a running back too. I think a Goff +3 would be better. Goff +4 still feels like a lot. Yeah, Tim Patrick is sneaking into everything. Tim Patrick, to me, feels like Paris Campbell did yesterday, where he's just getting in everywhere because he makes the price work. But I think ROI-wise, you probably get more ROI on Khalif Raymond because nobody's going to be playing him. Anyway, that's your Goff lineups here. And last but not least, let's look up your Huntley lineups. Your Tyler/Snoop Huntleys, depending on the platform you're playing on. Tyler Huntley, Achane, David Montgomery, Tyreek, J-Mo, Tyler Lockett, Sam Laporta, Noah Fant, and Dolphins D is your number 1 ROI lineup. Tyler Huntley with Achane, Gibbs, Metcalf, J-Mo, Lockett, Johnny Smith, David Montgomery, Dolphins. Huntley with Achane, Pollard, J-Mo, JSN, Lockett, Laporta, Walker, Dolphins. I think if you went the classic Tyreek and Waddle here, what does that get you? Lineup contains Tyreek. Lineup contains Waddle. So 152% ROI with Huntley, Achane, Pollard, Tyreek, Waddle, Lockett, Noah Fant, Kenneth Walker, Seahawks. So this build, I could see you could get more Seahawks in, and it's okay because you're getting low owned by going with the Alpha Dolphin stack, which seems like it's not going to come up naturally very often. I don't know that I believe Huntley is going to have like this amazing performance. Like Huntley really came back down to earth the last stint he had as a Ravens starting QB, and he couldn't even hold on to that job as a result. But I think if you're playing Huntley, I really think if you play the pass game aggressively for either side of Tennessee or Miami, it's probably your way to get different. So I would say for Byron's question here, I think stacking the teams that are not get stacked quite as much, which are going to be Tennessee, which are going to be Miami. I think that's the move no matter what format. But a 19K tournament, you're not that different from the other ones anyway. Wilder, Mostert is leverage. Mostert's not playing, so not Mostert. Tight end and DST differentiation, single entry. Okay, you're talking about for this guy. Don't play Mostert, though, because Mostert's already been rolled out, I think like about an hour ago. All right, let's hand build this. Let's see if something occurs to me more so while doing this process here. Of course, the hand builder tool, the single lineup generator, part of Stochastics packages. I think it's like $20 a month with the 15% off you get with promo code SPLASH. So check out the link in the description. This tool you can see on screen, you can actually use on your mobile phone as well, which I think is a positive for you guys that are hand builders out there on the go. So check it out. Link in the description for 15% off at Stochastic, the only discount they have going right now. All right, I think we got to go Levis. Just think with what we've talked about today, just hoping he can hit. Even if we do play Dolphins D as a result, I think we still need to go this way. So I'm going to go Ridley and Levis right away. Ridley with a downfield usage, I think feels pretty good. I think that's it. Kind of think we can play the most binary outcome here and play Levis and Hopkins. I'm not sure if Hopkins has the best workload right now, but I do think him being a guy that moves the chains in a situation where we are playing Levis as our QB works. And I think, too, there's a unique spot here where people are not going to play Tennessee stacks enough. As a result, you could play sort of the most obvious version of a Tennessee stack. And to me, that would be Levis, Ridley, and Hopkins, obviously. I feel like we have to play H-Chan. I think it does get a little better for him with Huntley in there, taking some pressure away. Probably loses some check down stuff, but should be getting a lot of swing passes, designed swing passes when it's not a play breaking down. I think H-Chan works for me. Tyreek. I like Amon-Ra a lot in this kind of game environment. Hard for me to fade him. I'm going to go Amon-Ra. I'm going to go Amon-Ra for this pick. I think Tyreek could be a credible pick if you're going to fade Detroit more so or go a different way to get that production, which I guess we could do. How would it look if I put Tyreek in here? I put Tyreek. Fuck, I wish Tyreek were discounted a little bit. Put in Laporta, who's also not discounted at all. RB. People are going to play Pollard. Where are we with Spears lately? Pollard last week, a lot of people liked him. I did not. 34 snaps last week. Spears, 20 snaps last week coming off the injury. Trending down, though. 29 snaps week 1, 22 week 2, 20 week 3. Let's try one of the Seattle guys. See what we can do with Kenneth Walker. We're running out of money, though. I guess this is why you're getting Tim Patrick a lot. All right. Defense. I think we can play the Seattle defense here. Hope they get pressure. They're around the ball enough. Now we have 3,700 at the flex. We could stack up. I think the obvious play that people would put in would be going to Chikakonkwo here. Noah Fant. Huntley has previously led to outlier days for tight ends in Baltimore's offense. So maybe Jonnu Smith, not a total dog shit play. But you know what? We didn't play Amon-Ra on this build. So let's go Khalif Raymond here. Try to get leverage on whatever Tim Patrick ownership is going to sneak up. I think it's going to be a negative ROI, but let's see. Only played 2 Seahawks, none of the pass catchers, which is tough because they're probably going to drop back a lot knowing they have to put up points against Detroit. Negative 58%. Jesus. All right, let's switch off some of this stuff. Let's go Amon-Ra. We got Khalif Raymond. Let's go Josh Wiley. See if we get a Levis triple and if that'll work. Flex. Hard to imagine one of the Detroit RBs not making it, right? But maybe we could play a Seattle pass catcher instead. Metcalf, going to be too expensive. Right? He's going to be too expensive no matter what. I think Lockett would be the one that'd be the sneakiest out of the group. That leaves us 4,400. Now we leave money on the table for the defense. So let's see. So Levis, Achane, Walker, Ridley, Hopkins, Amon-Ra, Wiley, and Tyler Lockett. Yeah, we can't get to JSN, right? We could afford JSN. All right, let's run that instead. I do think, though, if you have a build that looks good with, let's say, Metcalf in there, it wouldn't be crazy just to swap Metcalf straight up to JSN, to Lockett, and just hope that one of those guys can outscore him on this kind of slate. All right, positive ROI. That'll do it. So, final team here for the single lineup build. We got Levis, Achane, Kenneth Walker, Calvin Ridley, DeAndre Hopkins, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who, again, he's on the thumbnail. I think he's probably the most unfadeable part of tonight's slate besides Achane. Amon-Ra, Josh Wiley, JSN, Dolphins D. Oh, that's sad. Dikembe Mutombo. Oh, I don't want to hear that. He seems like a nice guy. And of course, who wants to sex Mutombo? Nice guy who also got it wet in a while ago. 7.3% ROI on this one. So there we go. All right, takeaways to get unique on this slate, guys. And before we get into that, please hit that like button. Please subscribe. We are now actually really close to 4K subs. So I didn't think we were going to hit this for a while, but I think the Sunday videos, which unfortunately not going to be able to do this week because I'm going to be at a wedding. But you guys subscribe down below. Of course, I do videos pretty much every Monday to Friday at 11 a.m., Sundays at 9 a.m. I skip Wednesdays to get myself right on data and all that, and film watching and all the process. I think it's important for me. But of course, I do showdown videos Mondays and Thursdays, do main slate videos Fridays and Sunday mornings, and Tuesdays, the best ball review show, talking about the thing that we've been preparing for, doing on streams at the beginning of the year. So please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment. Of course, Stochastic, 15% off, Solver, link in the description as well. Check those out. 3 takeaways to get unique, though. Number one would be playing less Seahawks. You're going to get a lot of Seahawks, it seems like, no matter what site you're playing on. Projection-wise, these guys project well. Look, the matchup, I get it. They're going to have to throw the ball theoretically more against Detroit. The flip side of that could be they try to run the ball more, keep the ball away from Detroit, which I don't think would be a crazy thing either. But really, just playing an outcome where everybody's going to be naturally forced mathematically to playing more Seahawks than they probably should. We saw in the solver, you're talking about 5 Seahawks in some builds, 6 in some builds. It's not how you play DFS in a 2-game slate. It will never hit, and when it occurs that frequently relative to the generic kind of median projections, it's going to hit even less. So play less Seahawks, number one. Number two would be, I think it's playing Will Levis, trying to get leverage against that Dolphins D. Even if you play Levis with the Dolphins D, I think that's not that crazy. Just trying to capture really in that game the either Tennessee pass game production, Miami pass game production, just trying to make it so you're going where everybody else is not going. And if that game does shoot out, you might be in a good spot here to be able to late swap around. I guess you won't have enough time, right? It would have to start scoring really fast. You'll have 45 minutes between the start time of Tennessee, Miami, and the start time of Seattle, Detroit. But let's say, Levis throws a big touchdown early on to Ridley. Ridley's 20% owned. You now have the ability to really be more judicious about playing the rest of that lineup, playing the rest of the Seattle, Detroit stuff. And I think that's something that would be an advantage as well. So to me, it really comes down to Tennessee, Miami, even though it's the much less appealing game. Because if you get whatever right in that game, even if it's just fading one team or whatever, fading one side like we saw hit last week in Bills-Jags, it's going to set you up really well for the second game. So just being really smart about using that game, I think, is one thing. You need to try to figure out ways to get unique with it. The Levis stacks are the most obvious one. But Huntley, with Hill and Waddles we talked about, that's pretty unique too. And number 3 would be, I think, just fading one team. I mean, we saw it hit last week, so I don't want to make that the thing that would work out. But Jags, again, popped up everywhere, simmed well everywhere. And then what ended up winning was just not playing a single Jag in that lineup, the same doubleheader we had last Monday night. Now, granted, it was a different game script. They got completely shut out in that game. We're off the field pretty early, as well as the Bills went nuts. So it's not a perfect 1-to-1 this week necessarily. But I do think if you limit one team to one player, you limit one team to no players. That's one way to get unique that people don't do enough on 2-game slates. So that's my recommendations for today, guys. Again, please show some love. Hit the like button, subscribe. I feel like ass right now. I'm sick today, but I push through for you guys as always. I have life fucking things I push through. That's the promise here. So show some love back if you can. Hit the join button down below for $4.99. Hit the like button. Leave a comment when the video ends, and of course, subscribe down below. And I'll be back tomorrow with more, guys. So best ball review show. Hopefully some good results to talk about for that one, but we'll see how today goes. But I'll see you guys for that one. Enjoy your days, and no matter what you're doing, gamble responsibly. And of course, good luck, guys. See you soon. Bye-bye.